Hey guys, welcome to mine and Claytano's Synergy tier list. This is a screenshot of the Synergy tier list as it's completed. So this is the main Synergies. These are Synergies that you build a composition around. And we've separated the video out into two parts, main Synergies and sub-Synergies. Sub-Synergies are Synergies that you use to complement other Synergies in the meta right now. So these are the two screenshots. I would recommend that you go and check out the main video in its entirety, timestamps in the description below. But first, I'm giving away an Xbox on the channel this month. As you may have heard, I've said it almost every single video for about 2 weeks now. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell on the video to get notified when I send a video live, because every time you comment, you will be entered into the draw for the giveaway. And if you write Excoundrel is really cool, I like him, I swear to God, guys, I'm not going to like that comment. Not going to like it at all. You just literally write Excoundrel is really uncool, and I will definitely like that comment. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this Synergy tier list video. The explanations are in full, and also go follow Claytano, because he's doing a giveaway too. See you soon. Alright guys, I know it's been a while since we've done one of these, but we spent a long time going back to the production quality. And you can see now, I have really upped the production quality by adding a fire. By adding a fire in between myself and Clay. And you can see us, and you can see that Clay's here. So we are going to be doing another tier list of Synergies, me and Clay. Mainly going to talk about the builds behind the Synergies as well as we go. So again, take it with a pinch of salt, because it's all, like, the image itself will only tell you so much, really. You need to kind of listen to the explanation behind things as well. And we've got Rupert, and Clay is obviously Rupert's godfather, so he's happy to be here.
My boy.
It's your boy. It's your boy. And he's almost touched. He can almost touch you. He's just reaching his hand out. But there's a fire there, so we can't put our hand in between.
Oh, yeah. Careful. It's hot.
I know. So, we are going to do this tier list, guys. Clay and me do this every update. Usually we had a little bit of a lapse in the last update because we've both been pretty busy. As you guys know, AutoChess Mobile's been kind of blowing up a little bit, and Clay's been killing it, and on his stream and on YouTube, and we've had a bit of a busy life going on. So we've finally got back to getting back to the tier list now, and expect to see the most updates again now. We're a bit on top of what we need to do.
Yeah, and I also I see a lot of comments from you guys on my channel as well as Excoundrel's channel asking for us to do a gameplay video together as well. We're actually playing against each other, so we're planning something. So be on the lookout for that soon. By the way,
yes, we have a really cool event that we are planning, and hopefully we'll have it to you in the next. I don't want to promise next week, but maybe next 2 weeks or so. We might have at least a night. You guys will hear about what we're planning. It's very cool. Right,
yeah, main thing is we hear you guys.
Yeah, main thing is we've heard you. We're going to do it. We're going to do it, and it's going to be very cool. Right, let's kick things off. Clay, I will get you to start. We're going to start, and we're going to separate this into two separate synergy lists, because we used to rank things like Agursis and humans alongside our main synergies, but they're sub-synergies. So we're going to talk about main synergies and sub-synergies. So we're going to do a main synergy tier list, and then we're going to do a sub-synergy tier list. And we'll start off with the main synergies, and I guess we'll kick it off with warriors.
Yeah, that's fine. And real quick, as we get into that, if you guys actually go into the game and go under your unit list and then go down to recommend formation, if you notice, there's only the main synergies listed as formations. They leave out a lot of builds like human and what was the other one? Marine, because they're not really main synergies, right? They're sub synergies. So I think that's where we'll try to just stay on topic with the main synergies, and then add in a separate tier list for sub synergies.
Yeah, so we'll kick things off with warrior. Where on the list do you think warrior sits, Clay?
I still think they're very average. They're not super below average. They're not super above average, but I think they're average. So I'll put them right at B for right now, and we'll kind of see how things go.
Yeah, I think warriors are probably a B tier synergy, just because of how popular mages are at the moment, and god mages and knights even to an extent. But warriors are good versus knights, and warriors are decent versus assassins. But unfortunately, because of how popular mages are and popular how god mages are, warriors have kind of fallen off massively. So I think warriors are kind of B right now. The only thing that I would add as a caveat to that is that warrior beast I would still say is an A tier strategy, because I still think that's the one that can snowball very heavily.
Yeah, and then also another big one that's pretty meta right now is feathered. So with feather being so predominant, that's another reason why warrior kind of falls off a little bit too.
Agree. My wife is making funny faces at Rupert while I'm trying to record this very serious video, Emily. Would you like to take this small child from me, or are you just going to make? You're just making funny faces at me. All right, let's go with assassins then, and I'm going to rate assassins as A tier. I think assassins are better than warriors. I know Clay absolutely hates assassins, but I've started having much better luck with assassins recently, and they are a direct counter to god mages, really, if you can get them going, and you don't need to get past level 8 with them, which makes them quite easy to access. And they also beat. Go. You hit me with that.
I was just gonna say, I think my problem with assassins are kind of the same as my problem with warriors, is that I like to econ a lot. Like, I put a lot of emphasis on econ and aggressive leveling rather than aggressive rolling. And from what I've heard, like, assassins are better off with aggressive rolling, so that we can get 3 stars rather than aggressive leveling or econ. So could be why I don't like them.
Yeah, basically you get to level 8, usually if you're doing well by round 17, and then you just roll like crap. Every single round it's just roll, try and find level 3 assassins. That is the thing with assassins though, if you're facing someone else going assassins, it can be very difficult. It's not one of those builds that you can really do when there are 2 people going for assassins in a game, because 3 stars is so important to this build.
Yeah, I think that's where it lacks is consistency, right? Because it's kind of like you either get the 3 stars or you don't. And you either win or you don't.
Yeah, but I think it would be doing a disservice to assassins to put them in a tier with warriors, because I think they are just strictly better than warriors in the meta right now.
Right, I agree. I agree with that for sure.
So I think pretty comfortable with this is all right. Let's go on to knights, and since we're both pretty big knight players, I'll let you start. But I think we both have very, very, very positive opinions about knights.
Yeah, you just smack that up at the top. Maybe you can move warrior and assassin down to give more room, like B as assassins and then C as warrior.
Yeah,
unless you wanted to add like a S++, but I don't think that's necessary. I guess
just by just changing the tags is just going to be like people are going to be like, oh, why are warriors C tier? But really, you need to think about it in context of the entire list.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly. If I were to change A to S and then make assassins A and then warriors B, people would be like, "Oh, that seems fair," but it's just doing the same thing basically. So yeah, right. This is kind of I'm kind of happy with that. I think knights are absolutely S+. I think dragon knights are the all-round best composition in the game right now. Just in terms of
it's hard to counter them. That's the thing. It's hard to counter them, and I know a lot of you guys are asking like a counter synergy list as well. So I think maybe while we're talking about this, we can kind of talk about what counters. Like, we kind of talked about it with warriors already, with being countered by feathered and mage. With assassins, I feel like Devastator is like a huge counter to assassins. Even Storm Shaman as well, believe it or not, because a lot of the assassins do have skills that have to proc. And then I think warriors are actually a decent counter to assassins as well.
Yeah, feathered is a good counter to assassins. Knights, knights are a good counter to assassins.
There's a lot of counters to assassins.
Yeah, the thing about assassins is that if they are 3 stars, they can beat their counters.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can actually beat your counters with assassins if you have 3 starred. And plus, they punish builds that aren't at all 2 stars yet, you know? So they're like a really punishing build, but they generally get countered by pretty much everything in the late game, which is kind of what makes assassins a little bit hit or miss.
Why they fall off, yeah.
Yeah.
But for knights, they don't have a lot of counters. I think feathered is actually a really good counter to knight.
Yes.
And then the other one would probably be Godmech.
Goblin mech, and then 9 warriors. I think if you do go a full 9 warrior build, it's almost impossible for knights to beat them.
Yeah, and then maybe like a dark spirit, obviously.
Yes, and also maybe 6 mages. The 6 mages can get through those shields pretty easily because they have a massive magic resist reduction. But it's
still difficult though.
Still difficult if it's a 6 knight build. If you're going Glacier Knight Warlock, mages can actually beat Glacier Knight Warlock because in general you play 4 knights, so it's like you don't play the full 6 knight bonus, so you get a lot of fall off versus mages, and also the Glacier clan gets decimated by Totaler Elder, so it's like, you know, it can be difficult if you're going that,
so if you are up against a mage comp as a knight player and you see that, just go 6 knights and then add in Soul Reaper for Aegrisis with either dragons or Glacier.
Yeah, you can go Glacier 6 knights, which is better versus mages, which is
I think Dragon Knights is actually better versus mages than Glacier because you have that splash.
I agree. Dragon Knights is better versus almost everything in the meta right now compared
Yeah.
to I mean, that's why I would put Knights as S plus, because they are just good versus pretty much everything in the game. Right
And
now.
they're easy to adjust and like transition depending on what your opponent's building, right? So if you have 6 knights, that's your base, and then if you see your opponent's building a certain thing, then go glacier, or if you see them building something else, go dragon, or
Yep.
go warlock, right? So it's very flexible.
I
So.
agree. Yeah, so I think we've kind of done Knights. Let's have a look at Feathered. I would rate Feathered as A tier. I personally would put Feathered in A tier.
Yeah, I've been trying that build a lot actually lately. So like whenever I try to learn a build, I force it every single game, whether I win or lose, right? Because I try to basically find where its weaknesses are and where its strengths are. And with Feathered, that's something we talked about at the beginning of the video too, like before we started, was that Feathered is really hard to do early game actually. It's really good mid game, and then late game it starts to fall off a little bit more, like level 10.
Feathered are a level 8 build. They spike at level 8, and then if you're playing Feathered Assassin, which I think is just the best variation of the Feathered build, you beat Knights for the most part, and you beat Assassins, which are two very common. And actually, if you have a level 2 Shining Assassin, and you've got your level 2 Assassins, including Shadow Crawler, and you've got a level 3 Taboo Witcher, including a level 3 Frontline, you can do okay versus mages. My most recent video was the Feathered build, where I was up against 3 mage builds, including 2 god mage builds, and we ended up coming second. So there are ways you can play into mages as Feathered, but as Clay said, the longer the game goes on, the more likely Feathered are to sort of be knocked down, because they just rely on units that are kind of bad in late game. Like druids are bad late game. They just don't have what it takes to stack up against other 3-stars.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, like the potential for the druids, right? They max out at 3-star pretty early. Like they're easy to get 3-star. So because they're easy to get 3-star, their stats like aren't necessarily the greatest. Where if you look at other builds like knights, since they aren't easy to get to 3-stars, their stats are like insane once you get them to 3-stars. Like a 3-star Hell Knight is ridiculous, or a 3-star Dragon Knight is ridiculous. Where the potential to like grow so much farther beyond Feathered builds is like super prevalent.
Yeah.
Or like minimal if you are building a Feathered, but like a lot higher if you're building something else. So that's what we mean by it's like falling off late game.
All right, Clay, being the previous Hunter aficionado, that's what I say, aficionado.
Yeah.
That you were. Where would you rate Hunters right now?
I think they're a little bit off the core right now. I would actually put them still A tier. So like if we made this video a week ago before the God nerf, I would actually put them like B tier or almost like C tier. But at least they made a little bit of a comeback, and I believe they're gonna add a 2-cost Feathered Hunter soon. And I think once that comes out, like you'll see S+ tier Hunters again.
Yes, because the reason Hunters have started struggling again in the current meta is they just added another legendary to the pool, and now it's a little bit harder to get Tsunami Stalker, which if you don't have 6 Hunters, you ain't winning most of the time. So it's definitely everything. But I would agree with especially with the Dwarf Sniper buff, they felt a little bit more comfortable. I felt really comfortable with a 3 Hunter early game a lot of the time, especially if it features Dwarf Sniper. I think Hunters are good, and I've won many games with Hunter in the late game, if you're given enough time. So I completely agree. I think Hunters are pretty solid right now. Plus they counter feathered, so it's one of those kind of like.
And they do good against good against knights. They do good against mages. They do good against lots of builds actually. So.
And the counter to Hunters in general are going to be things like Knights. So Knights generally, I think Dragon Knights beat Hunter.
Dragon Knights, okay, yeah, Dragon Knights. Anytime you have like a team that's clumped up in a corner, Dragon Knights are just going to wreck you.
Yeah, I think then also things like Assassins and Warriors are okay into Hunter. I think Hunters can beat Mages pretty consistently with positioning.
So as a Hunter aficionado,
yeah,
the worst thing to go up against as a Hunter player is Goblin Mech.
Well, same thing with Knights, that when they have so much armor and so much health regen, and you're all pure attack damage. Because also Hunters would lose pretty heavily to 9 warriors. You know, if someone went like a 9 warrior build, it's the same kind of deal, right?
9 warriors I'm not scared of.
It's
compared to
interesting.
six goblins.
I would
Six goblins
usually
with like warlock, and they put a devastator right on your team. It's bad. Bad news.
actually, to be honest, goblins got a bit better because Devastator now puts his bomb in front of him, right? It makes
Yeah,
it so it's,
that's insane actually.
so actually, but speaking of goblins, I think they're pretty trash right now. I genuinely think goblins are pretty trash right now.
They're just well, they're hard because they rely on one legendary unit. I you think
I
they're
was
like
I think
you
they're
think they're
probably the
D? I don't
same.
know if they're D. I
I think they're
haven't played
warriors.
goblins. Like
I
really wanted to build goblins for a while, so I would almost do D. I think I'd
D.
rather build 9 warriors than goblins.
I think I'd rather build 9 warriors than goblins as well.
The
I
thing
feels harsh
is,
saying that, but it's just that they
it
suck.
does.
They suck into
It's
mages.
just hard. So, well, yeah, they suck into mages, and if you don't get devastated, they suck into anything.
Yeah, exactly.
They
And
suck
it's
into
not.
literally anything and everything. At least hunters, even though they're so reliant on Tsunami Stalker, if you don't get Tsunami Stalker, you're still like, as long as you have everything else, like you're still gonna at least get maybe second or third. You might not win, but you'll get like second or third. If you get goblins and you don't get Devastator, you're gonna go from like first place down to last place before you know it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I
you'll get
think
to level 8, everybody else will get to level 8, and then you'll just go like you'll just start getting eaten by 20 points every round, and you'll just go like from a perfect game to nothing.
yeah, I could take 6 warriors and actually have a decent game with 6 warriors. Whereas if I go goblin mech and I never find Devastator, you know, as soon as round 21 comes around, you're just done. Like if you don't find Devastator after that, that's just it. It's all or nothing with goblins. The 3 goblin bonus is great when you've got like 4 units, and then suddenly it's like, okay, this doesn't become relevant until I literally find Devastator.
And then
like
it's like that's why they call it the goblin gamble a little bit, right?
And I think you're right with hunters. Like I can sit on 3 hunters and have that buff on 5 hunter units, which aren't too hard to find, even without Tsunami Stalker, and have an okay game. Like you're gonna have an okay game.
And you don't even need to get to 3 stars. Just everybody 2-star, and then like you're good. You're actually solid for a while.
But even if you almost need goblins to be 3-star to remain relevant past round 25, and then you need Devastator to even have a chance in hell for
so like it's an awkward thing where you're trying to level up quickly, but also trying to pull 1-cost units, right?
Yes, exactly. It's a bit counterproductive, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think D is good. Yeah.
All right, mages then. Where do we feel like mages sit?
Talking 3 mages or 6 mages? Because I think this is different because goblins, you have to go 6 goblins. Hunters,
yes,
you like 3 to 6 hunters. You basically want to go 6 hunters. That's the goal every time. Where with mages, you can go 3 or you can go 6. And then with gods mages, you can go.
I've never had success with 6 mages. I know the number 1 player in the world, a Japanese guy on the Asia server, plays 6 mages and crushes with it. I have somehow never, ever, ever managed to make 6 mages work properly. I have no idea why, but I've just never been able to do it.
Yeah, with 6 mages, you just want to like, you almost have no front line. You just want to cleave and go for broke.
So where would you put 3 mages? Because I think because of Dragon Knights, like I just think they're strictly inferior. So I'd probably put them on the same tier as Hunters and Feathered.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put them B tier.
No.
But at the same time, I don't know if I really want to put them A tier either. You know what? Yeah, I think if they're not A tier, there's gonna be a lot.
Let me change it. Let me switch it up a little bit and say, okay, I'm putting Divinity in now, and I'm putting Divinity still in S+ tier because I still think they're one of the best synergies in the game. But I will add the caveat that this is Divinity mages. So I think if you're doing Divinity 3 mages, it's like S+ tier. So that makes mages good in that sense. But I think mages by themselves right now struggle a bit.
3 mages without Divinity is like, kind of gross. Unless you're going like Cave Clan mages, which is
I think the human trifecta warrior mages is fine as well, like Werewolf, Pirate, Captain Doom.
It's fine, but it's not like S+ tier.
No, but I think Divinity mages are S+ tier.
Yeah, I think I can agree. Divinity mage Warlock.
Divinity Mage anything. in my opinion, Divinity Mage anything. If you hit
Yeah.
God of Thunder, like you just don't lose. Like if you hit, and even if you then are relying solely on God of War, but you've got rest of your stuff 2-star, you've still got an incredible composition.
Have you ever had a Divinity Mage Warlock team, a 2-star Devastator?
No, but I did see
You
your
should try it.
I did see your clip on Twitch, I think, or I don't know if you made it into a video where he was just like doing a bomb, it was blowing up, and then putting another bomb down, then doing a bomb, it
Yeah.
just wouldn't die. It just
It's a
wouldn't die.
2.5-second cooldown
That's ridiculous.
on a bomb, and then anytime he uses a bomb, he gains all of his health back.
That's ridiculous.
It's insane. Yeah, I would still put them up there. They're still great. They're a little bit harder to get rolling early game with the God of War nerf and the 3 mage nerf, but late game, if you can get everything, they're still S+ tier.
I think the only one we've got left to do is the full demon composition, which is definitely an interesting one. I don't rate full demons whatsoever. I don't know about you.
I always think about it because it's such a fun build and like super entertaining for streaming and stuff. And then I get baited by a little bit, and then it's just like, okay, no, I shouldn't have done this.
I think they're worse than Goblin Mech. I actually just think full demons are just really bad right now.
Yeah. Just put them down there. That's fine. Yeah. I think E tier is fine.
The other thing that before we move on to sub synergies, because there isn't really any other major synergies that I think we haven't covered. I don't know whether you classify Beast as a major synergy or Beast as a sub synergy.
I've actually done some testing with Beast. It's a valid build. I mean, they fall off pretty hard, but I've done 6 Beasts, and I mean, I think you could put them up there as a main synergy.
Where would you rate them then? I think I've done a lot of Beast Summoner builds, and they're actually hilarious and actually quite good. But
I think
they are
D.
Yeah, I think Beasts. Thing is, like
I'd
Beast
rather
Warrior.
go Warriors.
Would you think it's like 4 Beasts Warriors is actually still a really good build. And I would say I would rather go Beasts than I would Goblins. That's what I'm seeing in my head. I would rather go Beasts than I would Goblins.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. C tier.
Yeah. Because then also you have the Beast Warrior build, which if you've been watching T Tigers at all, the #1 player, he doesn't stream, but you check his builds. He's been Beast Warrioring a lot right now, because it snowballs so hard.
Yeah, and it's consistent, right? So if you knock out your opponents quicker, then you're getting top 3 a lot easier, and you're going up in points that much easier.
Exactly. So I feel this is a fairly good representation of the current major builds and synergies without muddying the water with all the sub synergies.
Yeah, like obviously you could throw Mech in there and Glacier and Dragon and Warlock and Human and Cave Clan, but like those are all like you put those with all of these. You're not going to ever build any of those without one of these synergies.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with this list. I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree with it. Knights and Divinity probably the top builds right now. Feather, Hunter, Mage right up there as well. You see a lot of assassin players right now, but could be bad, could be. It's a little bit of a gamble. Then you have your super average beasts and warriors. You have your less than average goblins, and then your super below average demons.
Really
and demons, you don't even see them on that recommended formation list anyway. And you do see druids on that recommended formation list, but druids aren't a synergy that you use. It's either beast or feathered, basically.
It's a sub synergy. Like druids is a sub synergy. They're adaptable. I feel bad putting assassins here because I feel like they're better than I'm making out with this tier list. That's the only thing I feel a little bit uncomfortable about is the fact. Yeah.
I mean, there's like top 5 players that play assassins every single game right now.
Yeah.
But I don't think there can be 4 builds at A tier.
I think assassins are really good though. I think if you were to publish this and the top players looked at it, they'd be like, "Why assassins? Why the fudge?" I'm going to edit that. Why the fudge are assassins in B tier?
So would you maybe switch feathered and assassins? or just put them in A by
I just
themselves?
put them like this and do that.
Okay.
It sounds bad, but they were just because I think actually this is what I'll phrase it this way. I actually think the meta is really quite balanced at the moment. I genuinely think it's a bit of a rock paper scissors meta right now, which is I think is the way that AutoChess should be realistically.
Should be building something to counter your opponents.
I think all of the builds that we've got in S plus and A, in some way, shape, or form, counter another build in S plus or A. That's why they're so good. Because they're all quite balanced in terms of the only thing that I feel is overpowered is Dragon Knights and Divinity Mage. Everything else I think is moderately balanced in the right scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to wing Clay over here because I think this is the best representation of the meta right now.
Yeah, it's fine. I always just find it weird when there's like a clump of things right in the same tier. But I
Yeah,
think you're right. I think the more clumped it is, that means the more balanced it is.
the more balanced it is, and I do actually think the meta is really balanced right now. Just feel
Yeah.
bad for goblins, obviously, but you can't really do anything for goblins because they just rely on that one unit.
Yeah.
I genuinely think we actually are in one of the most balanced metas we've ever had in AutoChess Mobile.
Yeah. And then once they add new characters, then all that balance goes out of whack when put the hunter in. Then hunter's like S plus.
Clay
I'm
can't
telling
wait.
you.
Clay
I
can't
can't. I
wait.
really can't wait. Because then you go hunter feathered with druid frontline. It's gonna be amazing.
I used to play that on the Dota chess mod when they had
Oh,
we had
yeah.
Morana.
Just
Right.
with
So
Nerf.
that's the main synergies. I'm pretty happy with that actually. Let's do sub synergies. We can do it moderately quickly.
Okay.
Right. So let's
Dragons
start off.
S plus.
Dragons S plus just because they go with dragons, knights, and dragon mages, and I just think they're really strong as a synergy right
You
now.
could even put them in like other things too if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I think warlocks as a sub synergy are A for sure because they're just so adaptable, and you see 3 warlocks in a lot of builds.
Yeah, you see them in gods builds. You see them in goblin builds. You see them in knights builds. You see them in warrior builds, beast builds. So
Yes, Rupert, you do see
glacier
them in
builds.
those things. I think next one, humans. I think they're pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, right now, like with Divinity Mage being so dominant as well, it's kind of nice to have that extra silence on like a Storm Shaman or something.
I'd say A. I'd
Maybe.
say A tier. I'd say A tier for humans.
Okay, yeah, we'll put them there for now.
All right,
You can go
your
ahead.
speciality, Cave Clan. Your speciality.
Yeah, Cave Clan. I think they're great at the start, but eventually they just fall off. So maybe like B or C. I'd be fine with.
I'll put them B because I think they're adaptable. When I rate sub synergies, I'm also rating how adaptable they are. And Cave Clan is just quite and plus being Storm Shaman being so good, even with the nerf, having a bit of extra health on the Storm Shaman never hurts.
Yeah, it depends on what you're building. Like if you're going hunters, then you could probably put in Cave Clan pretty easily. If you're going like mages, you could probably put it in pretty easily. Warriors, obviously, but yeah, okay, we'll keep it at B for now. Fine with that.
What do you think about Glacier?
Glacier, I think is still super strong. Where I would almost put them A, like 4 Glacier is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
2 Glacier is like kind of irrelevant. 4 Glacier, like really good. And I think for like Warlock, never build like 6 Warlock. Just build 3 Warlock. So that's what we're talking.
Agree. I think 4 Glacier is good, and there's actually been a few different builds of like Glacier being outside of Knight as well. I've seen people playing like Glacier Warrior again. I've seen people playing Glacier Cave Clan, which is like a really weird build that I've seen pop up
I've done that before,
sometimes.
too. Or Glacier Druid too.
Yes. And speaking of Druid, Clay, where would you shove Druids?
I guess you could put them B. Well,
I would say B as well. I think they're
I think they
adaptable.
go with Cave Clans. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're adaptable. They can. The good thing about Druids is they spike really hard mid game, and they're pretty easy to slot into many different builds if you want to. Like you could still go Druid Hunter if you like. I remember Clay used to play the crap out of Druid Hunter when you were first starting to play Druid. I mean,
That was my
sorry,
go-to
Hunter.
was Druid Hunter, and then I realized it was a lot harder to get that build early game, and then I realized it would be much better to go Cave Clan Hunter and then transition into it. And then we have Mechs, which you could put probably like C or D.
probably put him D. I just don't think the synergy itself is that useful, even at 4.
Yeah. So D, and then Shaman you could put E.
Yes, I have seen people raving about the Shaman because and I know you
Yeah,
had
I
that
got
game.
wrecked by Shaman. I don't know if you
I was watching the game. I think you had a level 2 or 3 Dragon Knight, and it just kept
level 3
getting.
Dragonite and it turned it into a penguin every single game. I was like, this is 3-star Penguin Knight.
Yeah.
It felt so bad. I was like, why did I even make this a 3-star? Because it just turned into a penguin every time.
People have been raving about Defector as well being like a really strong unit in because I think did they change the way that Defector worked? Like it was specifically target a unit some percentage of the time, and then sometimes it'll be random.
I don't know. I don't think it's like it's not something that you really want to worry about making.
No, I agree. I wouldn't shoehorn it into a build that didn't naturally have the ability to go Shaman anyway, which is usually a Glacier build in the first place. So
yeah. Marine.
I'd say B tier. Like they're still good, especially in Hunter.
Yeah. Okay.
You naturally get it in Hunter. I mean, this is the thing, right? I wouldn't naturally force. I don't know if I'd naturally force a Marine build into something that didn't already have Marine in it. Although I have seen some people going for. I have seen some people going for Marine versus God Mages and actually doing all right. But
it's super situational though. Like,
yeah,
don't. Like, if you're going for Marine, you're like giving up your entire meta build. You're like everything's out the window and you're just winging it.
I'd actually almost put them in C because, and I'll say it for this reason, I would never actively pursue a Marine addition to my lineup unless it was naturally included, like Hunters, or it was like one unit that I needed to add, like if
Assassins or Warriors. That's it.
Yeah,
Hunters, Assassins or Warriors.
Yeah, I would never naturally do it. Like I wouldn't go out my way. I guess I would put A tier personally.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I like Agursis a lot. Spirit, I'd probably put like.
Ooh, wait a second, guys.
C.
Update the icon. Oof,
the
icon.
fancy one.
Spirit, you'd put C. I agree. I think spirits are still super good early game. The problem is the 4 spirit bonus is just crap. People used to really like it, but it's like it doesn't work versus ranged units, and the meta is almost always dominated by ranged units.
You have mages, you have hunters, you have glacier, dragons. Like it's not going to really make that much of a difference unless they're building 9 warriors. Then it's like okay, maybe then it's great, but. The amount of people that build 9 warriors in like Rook or higher is like very minimal.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we've got many sub-synergies left. There's the Witcher build, Witcher
Kira, and Dwarf, I guess.
I'm gonna put Witcher in F tier because I just like it's just pointless.
It's relevant. Yeah.
Demon builds it literally only helps activate a demon build, which is one of the worst demon builds in the game. The only build that I would say this is good in is the off-meta Fool and Witcher build that some people like to run, but I still
not
think
even for the Witcher bonus. Witcher is just to keep your demon thing.
Exactly, it's not even for the Witcher bonus. I mean, shutting down an enemy demon is like negligible in a lot of cases. So
yeah, almost helps out if you're going against a god team that forgot to put in another demon.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look. Kira, again, F tier. Just, you never add it as a sub-synergy. It's literally only relevant because you have to use it in a lot of times to get yourself to a 6 mage bonus, and then you often just get rid of him anyway.
Yeah, it's relevant. Aside from that, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing is considering Beast as a sub-synergy, which you do sometimes get slotted into things like Feathered Assassin.
Yeah,
I'd put them C, like, or maybe B actually, because
I was gonna say B.
Yeah,
B's better. And then I almost want to put. I want to move 1 from A up.
Okay.
I think it's Warlocks.
I think I agree actually. I think Warlocks are so adaptable and actually have such an impact in the meta right now. A lot of people do specifically search for 3 Warlock additions to their builds.
Yeah, it's adaptable. It can be played with a lot of different builds, and the Warlock units are actually really, really good. Like Soul Reaper and Dark Spirit are insane. Also, Desperate Doctor is a freaking god early on too.
Mm-hmm. Agree. I think I'm pretty happy with sub synergies. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's good too. I like it. Easy.
All right, That was easier than the main builds,
Yeah.
And that about wraps up our entire tier list, doesn't it, Rupert and Clay?
Yeah. Tired tea time with Excoundrel.
Extano plus Rupert, who just wanted to sit and watch.
Yes.
and you talked on cue as well. Well done, mate. So this is obviously, we do this every update when we can, and the next one will go on Clay's channel. We are looking to improve it again to talk specifically about specific builds, which is what we'll try and aim for the next one. So that one will be going onto Clay's channel on the next update when we have, which I believe will be happening next week. I know that we're getting an update next week sometime, so I guess we'll.
Give you guys like an example, it would be like Knight's Dragons or Knight's Glacier or Feathered Beast, right? It would be specific builds, and it would also have like the amount of each synergy in it. So like 6 feathered, 3 assassin, or 3 feathered, 6 assassin, right? Just to kind of help you guys wrap your head around it a little bit better.
Yeah, and then once we get that done, it'll be a lot clearer in terms of the builds that we're talking about. Plus, it means if you take a picture of the screen, take a picture of the tier list for your own personal reference, you'll have an idea about what we're talking about without having to have to watch the video, which makes it much
makes
easier.
More sense. You can post it on Reddit and stuff.
Yeah, please post it on Reddit.
Yes.
Right, guys, that'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe to Claytano, by the way, twitch.tv/Claytano, and also youtube.com/Claytano, and subscribe to me because we are doing our giveaways this month. We are kind of coordinated our giveaways. I'm doing an Xbox, Clay's doing a PS4. We just did it for that particular reason. But yeah, go check out the channels. We are doing giveaways, and every comment that you put on either of our videos throughout the month will enter you into the giveaway at the end of July for either the PS4 or the Xbox. So
so if nothing else, just comment on every single one of our videos.
Exactly, just do it religiously every single day.
Yeah, just copy pasta something. It's all good.
Call me Claytano, like everybody does.
Yeah. I get so many comments. Hey Clay, or hey Excoundrel, nice video, love it.
Yeah,
hey.
I got 2 on the last video. It was like, hey Claytano, nice build. I'm like, nice. Thanks. I actually give it a compliment to be
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we will see you later, and I guess we'll see you on either our streams or the next videos.
Peace, guys. Later.